So this video will be reviewing the Well MB05 adjustable stock spring sniper rifle. Starting with the stock, has metal plating for supporting the entire adjustment section, which is the hole inside the stock. There's a threaded hole for the notch that goes in, and then you just twist to adjust it. So the threads uses the threads in the stock to move the stock in or out. I'm not going to adjust it because mine's, kind of busting. I'm missing a support on the bottom. It's shaky. That's the only bad thing. You can lose stuff. The pad is hardened rubber. It's not very flexible. It's not soft. It's not comfortable. But you're going to have to get used to it, so don't start whining. That's about it for the stock. It is plastic. Metal bolts, of course, because if you use plastic bolts, they'll just strip a break, but it is plastic. The entire body is ABS plastic. Another downside is the entire body, if you look, it's even coming apart here, and then whole body, top to bottom, front and back, it's entirely seamed to keep the plastic body together, and that is a very, very big disadvantage, besides the mag well, of course, but that's kind of a given. Other than that, handle, stock, main body that houses the internals, it's all threaded. Even I had put some hardened epoxy on it to keep the gun together. It just falls apart. Now, it is one piece, though. It's seamed, but it is one piece. Pretty solid. It's somewhat cheap plastic. They could have made it better, but if you drop it while you're in a war, it will take a hit from personal experience. But if you dropped it from any extended height other than the height that you're carrying the gun, it will snap no matter what. Now, the length of the entire body itself, from back of the stock to the tack rail insert, it is 31 inches. Stock to there. That is the length of the body. Now the barrel, it is free floating, so it is, and the metal on the barrel, it is actually quite flexible if you put it under pressure. You can flex it with just your hand, which isn't a very good thing. My guess is that it's some kind of cheaper titanium. I actually like this bike right here because it's titanium. It flexes for its suspension. So that's my guess. It is similar texture and weight too. Now this is steel, the housing for the bolt. That's steel. The scope, of course, that's just whatever you buy. This isn't the scope that came with it. It comes with a 3-9 power, no focus. It's just a single focus. Not the best scope. It doesn't have a brand name on it either, but it is a scope. This is the one I put on. It was originally on that pellet gun down there, and then I bought a new scope for that. Bolt. It's solid. You don't have to worry about that breaking. It's tough. It's steel. The bolt looks like steel. I don't think it is, though. It's a cheaper metal. Now, the length of the barrel, the free floating, it's flexible. It's bad. The length of the free floating barrel, it is 15 inches from where it starts and ends. Free floating barrel, 15 inches. The entire outer barrel itself, from where it starts to where it ends, is 2 feet exactly. Now the entire length of the gun from the stock to the end of the barrel is 46 inches, or 3 5/6 feet. But yeah, it's a big gun, pain to use, but it's powerful. You don't want to mess with its stock, or it'll leave a mark. Especially very powerful for close up and long range. You can reach out and touch someone from about 210 feet if you sight it right and adjust the hop up right, and it will make them bleed from that distance. Magazine, it's the functioning parts of it are plastic inside and out, except the housing that they put the functioning parts in on the magazine, it's solid steel. If you drop it or hit it with something, I use it as a hammer. I got scratches on the bottom. Oh, and the paint job doesn't come with it. I did that myself, so you don't have to worry about that. Now the internals, the stock internals it comes with, I do think it is an M150 spring in it. about 450 feet per second on average. I clocked it at 462 on my top shot, and that was in a specialized chronograph where my father works. And the trigger mechanism, very small, compact. It is plastic. It will break if you mess with it too much, if you take your gun apart. Trigger is a cheap metal. It's not in there very good. It wobbles. It has a double trigger for safety, safety measures. It doesn't really matter though, because even when you have the safety trigger, you can still just put your finger on the bottom and pull it. It doesn't work. Non-functioning, just for looks. The pieces inside the trigger mechanism, of course, spring guide is metal, so it can support the spring. But I actually took the gun apart completely, and I put an M170 spring in it. And then where my dad works, you'd have to find a place to do this too, but I had custom carbonized steel spring guides made, different parts for different springs. And I also have a custom spring, but right now I have an M170 spring that you get off Airsoft GI. It's just, I think it was $5. Very powerful. My gun right now, it's shooting 560, and I can hit a Coke can because I'm a gun enthusiast. As you can see, I got all kinds of bows, rifles, shotguns, you can imagine. If you know how to sight a gun with the M170 spring and the right barrel, I have a 6.01 millimeter barrel in it, you can hit a Coke can from about 270 feet if you know how to sight the gun right and adjust the hop up. Alright, last thing before I end it here. I'll have another shooting section at the end. You probably won't be able to see it, but yeah, you can't see it. In here, if you buy the gun, or if you have the gun, you're watching this, in here, right down there, there's a little Allen screw. Very small. It is the hop-up adjustment. You twist it left, I believe it's left for up and right for down. Very simple adjustment. It has a V-hop in it. It's okay. It doesn't work the best, but it is an averaged one. But that is the gun in itself. It's short and, well, big, but, short and to the point as far as the video goes about it. Not much to it. Plastic and a spring. Anyway, that is the Well MB05. I will have a shooting section, a separate video for the shooting later. That is the gun.